Everybody please take your seat. Mr. Grant, the floor is yours.
Sandy, do I need to maybe ask you to change slides for this? We're good there. I just want to make sure. Good evening. I know we've probably been here a little bit longer than anticipated, so I'm going to try and be real quick, give a little bit of an update on exactly what LifeSync Technologies is, what we're trying to do here in Harvey County, and how we're trying to be a partner to see some of the growth that is occurring in Harvey County increase even more. LifeSync Technologies is a company that was formed a little under a year ago, with the notion of creating multiple software solutions and applications centered around consolidating consumers' data and their lives. And the principal premise of our business in the solutions that we create is the fact that where you bring data and where you bring people together, and where there is collaboration, there is power. And so that may be de-identified data in the patient and healthcare world. That may be food distribution in the citrus or ag community. But all of those businesses are successful for the same reason. They're connecting real and identifiable small data. Sandy, if you can please move. Thank you. Our vision here in Harvey County, and Sarah showed a slide earlier of the Preco building and talked about the tech park. And for us, when we were looking at numerous locations around the state to locate, when we were looking and were first approached with the idea of forming what we like to think is a template for public-private partnerships, and weighing that against the options of some of the venture capitalists and angel funds, one of the things that really attracted us to Harvey County was the people, the livestock, but also the fact that we weren't being recruited as a company. We were being recruited as a catalyst to something bigger. We were being recruited to help create a vision and to create careers in Harvey County, not just jobs. And certainly in the tech environment where acquisitions happen routinely, where payments happen monthly, we wanted to be a part of something bigger. So Sarah showed you a quick slide earlier in her presentation about the spec buildings and the various things. We want to see that tech park become a hub in Harvey County. We want to see that become something that complements some of the manufacturing and commercial and industrial economic growth that's occurring right here in Harvey County. We want to be a partner that does not change the landscape of Harvey County, but enhances it. So that kids who grow up here, that go to Harvey High and go off to college, get a degree, and want to work in technology aren't confronted with the choice anymore of, do I do what I do, or what I love in technology, or do I come back home and live with my family? I don't believe that those two things should be confronting children or professionals in this community. And we want to create an opportunity where folks can get educated, get trained, and more importantly, bring those skills back into technology companies that are doing business around this country and in a global economy. Excuse me. And so what LifeSync, one of the things we joke in our office regularly and with our team when we're going through kind of whiteboard or creative sessions is that far too often too many good ideas are left in the shower. And technology, I think, is probably where that hits home the most, because I would imagine that each of you have at one point in your life said, wouldn't it be amazing if I had an application on my phone that would do this? Wouldn't it be great if I could sit down on my computer and do that? Or how can I connect this to that? And unless you fall into the category of being a senior developer or senior engineer, that becomes something that most of us can't comprehend. And so all of a sudden, we leave that alone because we either don't have the time, we don't have the money, or we don't have the knowledge of how to implement that, and how to make sure that an idea that would create value in the marketplace, an idea that would be financially sustainable as a business model, actually gets created rather than left in the shower. And so one of the things that we want to do with LifeSync is to create a place where, as we joke, a Pinterest mom, for anybody familiar with that term, kind of the new soccer mom term, but where a Pinterest mom can come. She's got 4 kids. She's got dependent parents. She's got kids playing soccer, kids taking piano, and a daughter taking ballet. She doesn't have time to launch a startup. She doesn't know how to design or develop software solutions. But she's able to come and partner with somebody who wants to be some sort of catalyst and to create an incubator where those businesses can grow and thrive and not be left in the shower simply because of lack of time, resource, or knowledge. And so creating that idea for application creation, I think, is something that becomes incredibly powerful when we talk about the notion of the tech budget. Because it's one thing for us to talk, and we'll introduce you to our first product here in just a second, Blue Water. But it's one thing for us to talk about the economic growth and the jobs that can be created and the talent that can be created and recruited with a notion like Blue Water. We feel very optimistic and are incredibly excited about where we stand right now with Blue Water. But that's small ball compared to what happens when we start launching numerous applications and you see the exponential growth of multiple companies and you start to get the vision of Hardy County being written about in the Wall Street Journal as a rural county investing in tech because of unique technological assets and a community that's buying in. And so, although we certainly will take pride in the success of Blue Water, and that's something that we are working tirelessly to establish, that's not necessarily our level of success. That will make a big difference in this community. It will create jobs, and it will lead to the ability to recruit other tech companies to Hardy County. It does not transform the economy. It does not enhance, and it does not create an entirely new sector to complement the other things going on currently in Hardy County. Thank you, Sandy. So I showed you a quick little infographic or visual on how we kind of convey what Blue Water is. Blue Water was created with the vision of enabling individuals and families to consolidate their identity in certain capacity and to collaborate around that information, share it with others based on who they share it with others at their choice. And so currently right now in the healthcare, legal, insurance space, emergency contact space, there is lots of conversations going on around this. EHS&B is currently selling driver's license information. You have health information exchanges. Two were just acquired last year, Axolotl, by United for somewhere undisclosed between $190 and $300 million. 4 months later, you had Medicity acquired by Aetna for $490 in cash and stock. Health information exchanges are valued at that because of the data that they create. But all of that data is without the patient in the center. None of that engages the patient. And so to give you a quick snapshot of how that works, I go to the doctor. My doctor may be, or provider may be in that health information exchange, and they're having a conversation with the other doctors inside the health information exchange, maybe the insurer, maybe the pharmacy. But none of that is coming through me. None of it is verified through me. And one of our fundamental beliefs at LifeSync and with the Blue Water application, and I've heard it said best, that small data is the new oil. And you're seeing a transition in technology where forever large data, big data, was what was king. Big data would be, prior to the Google streetcar story, if any of you all saw that, Google would be a good example of big data. It's search results. It's non-identified, non-specific data. It's not coming from me, the most reliable source about my data and about my information. Small data is becoming the new oil because there are now ways in technology for individuals, consumers, and families to link together and to share small data in a secure environment, to know that the data received is de-identified, it's not jeopardizing my security, it's not jeopardizing my family or my children. That information is being used for my betterment. It's being used to find trends in healthcare. It's being used to cut costs in healthcare. And so we like to think of Blue Water as the missing puzzle piece in that network, so that as the pharmacies, as the lawyers, as the doctors, as the emergency responders, or healthcare providers are having conversations about me, that finally I'm in the middle of that puzzle, and finally I have a seat at that table. What you're looking at is the homepage of where somebody would manage a profile, and we have joked that is my created dad with less details than my current dad. But that is a fictitious John Grant. John Grant has created a profile where he has multiple people sharing permissions with him, or people that he has shared permissions with, the pictures to the right. Excuse me. This is where the application launches from, right? So everything's managed here. Everything is created from here. You'll see the icons down at the bottom. It's how John manages each of those different types of information. So he may go in there and manage his medications. He may go in there and manage his emergency contacts, his info, immunizations, documents, allergies, or any of those other applications. One of the really unique things about what we're doing and where we've gained a lot of traction and garnered a lot of excitement from trusted third parties is the fact that we can become a hub for a lot of organizations. And there's one NCI designated cancer facility in the state. It happens to be in Tampa, and they happen to have the most respected, let's say, patient portal called Total Cancer Care. Their adoption rate of total cancer care is something like 78% before a patient shows up at the facility, and it's something like 94% by the time the patient sees their first doctor. Patient portal is a way for that consumer to manage their cancer treatment, to see their labs, to communicate with their doctors, but nothing in patient portal is connecting out for their children, for their parents, for their spouse, and with any other outside third party. And so one of the reasons facilities like that are so interested in what we're doing is because we can become a hub in that spoke, and we can become a way for the consumer or the patient to finally be sitting at that table. On the right side, you'll see notifications. And what those notifications represent, we will see, we're currently updating this right now, but you will have kind of a scrolling update feed there. So that may be something that when John logs in, John sees that his son has gone in and updated medication because John just went to the doctor. John doesn't know how to use Blue Water. And so he's literally just checking to see what's going on inside of his profile. He may have a message from a provider that says, I want to share access to these records. I want to import these records. I want to import these documents. And all of that happens in that notification page. Same if you could. Sorry, no, you're fine. And I've shown you just one kind of submenu. So if you imagine where we just were and you click the icon to see medications. One of the things that we truly believe is that most, if not all, current solutions anywhere near our space are failing for three primary reasons. One, they're not secure. Two, the consumer doesn't own their data. And so if I'm a United policyholder, a Blue Cross Blue Shield policyholder, they've provided me with a PHR, personal health record. But as soon as my employer changes plans, or as soon as I change jobs, that data is gone. It's not owned by me, it's owned by them, it's for their benefit, not mine. And third is the fact that most consumers will tell you that any solution in this space is entirely too cumbersome to use, and they quit by the time they get to this page right here. And so little things that we've done with this to include a database so that it's not incumbent on a consumer to spell tetracycline correctly is something that makes it that much easier. We also don't require all of the information. So enabling the consumer to use it how they choose for their benefit and to create flexibility has them feeling like they're an owner of that data and they get as much out of it as they put in. One of the things that we're excited here, and this screen will probably not last all that long in the initial version launched in the next month. We are currently talking with a company that will be creating a scan to import medications. And so when you go to the CVS, Walgreens, your local pharmacist, every prescription bottle you have by federal regulation has a barcode on it. That barcode contains information about who prescribed it, what was prescribed, what type of tablet, what type of dosage, and the date prescribed. And so the ability literally to pick up a smartphone, scan that barcode, and have that medication show up with that information here is something that we believe consumers find themselves using much more reliably rather than having to turn around and import all that information. Sandy, if you can go back real quick. I'm sorry, I paused there. I want to highlight one other thing that I didn't talk about here. One of the things that differentiates us significantly from anybody else in the space, including companies that have just successfully closed a very respectable Series B in the Silicon Valley, is that our platform enables us to manage permissions down to each data point. And what that means is the ability to determine who sees what. So I've not only invited a person, but I've also controlled what that person can see. We joke inside the office that grandpa may not want his granddaughter to know. He may want granddaughter to be able to help take care of his records, but may not want granddaughter to know that he takes an ED medication. There are all sorts of scenarios where individual data points may not want to be shared in a number of different scenarios. And by building on top of a platform and constructing an application that allows the consumer to determine not only who can view any and all, but who can view exactly what. And so that's something that we believe is pretty revolutionary, and something that we believe puts us in a very unique place with those that are kind of dabbling in our space. I'll wrap up here real quickly and open up to questions in case there's anything that somebody wants to know. But it has been it's been a tremendous last couple of months for us. We just, about 2 weeks ago, finished an initial meeting and are currently scheduling a follow-up with the second largest insurer in the country. June 14th, we will be hitting the road to pitch somebody of similar size. There are numerous reasons why the insurers are very intrigued about what we're doing. Most of it deals with the product itself. Most of it deals with the fact that in a world where health plans are apples to apples, they have an ability to differentiate themselves. They have an ability to show something different to a large group. And certainly when you think about a spouse being able to help manage records or deliver information to emergency contacts when her husband's a pilot for Delta or a driver for FedEx or on the road with Boston Scientific, and to be able to do it regardless of geography, regardless of relationship, is something that they feel like puts them in a place to differentiate with their competitors. But secondly is the current regulatory environment. And there are numerous factors that have the insurance companies playing defense right now from federal regulation. And we have created a model that I'm almost assured will put most of you to sleep. And so was not included, but a model that has them very, very intrigued at the ability to manage some of those regulations rather than being managed by them. And so we are incredibly excited. Certainly, when you are in the software space and not everybody is public at the same time, you don't know who's working on what at the exact same time. The company that is probably closest to our space has no idea we exist, and we like it because they were able to launch a couple months before us. We will leapfrog them with a number of things that have them sitting back thinking, wait, why weren't we working on this at the same time? And so there are always threats, both unknown and known. But one of the things that I think has been something that has been affirmation for us is the reception by the community and the involvement in the community. Certainly we're aware that there are some that do not want to see technology succeed in our country. We are aware that there are some who are claiming that money is being misappropriated or that somehow we're not going to deliver on what we're going to be delivering on. And certainly that becomes a threat. And it becomes a threat not because we're worried about anything that's said. We know exactly where every dollar is gone. We're accounting for every dollar. It becomes a threat because when we're facing when we're coming off the heels of a potential 11-figure deal and staring down the barrel of another potential 11-figure deal, and we're spending time dealing with that, it does become a distraction. And so that becomes a threat. With that said, the reception that we have had in this community and the investment and the belief in technology moving closer towards that tech part has been something that has been truly overwhelming and has verified our decision when we started sitting down a little over a year ago when Harvey County approached us about bringing LifeSync technologies and Blue Water to Harvey County. And so the opportunities are something that we truly believe are endless. We got off, I updated you real quick on the insurer side. Pharmaceuticals obviously see the power of engaging consumers in something that's not their own application. If Walgreens is suggesting that you come refill your application as your medication as a consumer, your immediate reaction is, of course, Walgreens wants me to refill my prescription. It's to their financial benefit. If somebody's speaking on my behalf, and I'm getting the value, and I'm receiving whether coupons or knowing that my data is being used for my benefit, I'm much more likely to turn around and refill. And so the ability to create that hub is probably our greatest opportunity. The fact that we have built ourselves on a fundamental premise that controlling who can see what, and by empowering individuals and families to share data however they choose, in whatever fashion they choose, is something that we truly believe can revolutionize the way families manage, whether elderly, young, or anywhere in between on that spectrum. And so we are still incredibly excited. We are still absolutely looking forward to the day when the story is written about a public-private partnership in a rural county that, quite frankly, shouldn't have anything to do with that. By all impressions and by all stereotypes, this community shouldn't be investing in technology. And there are people inside of this community that have said we need to diversify this economy. We see the ability to play in a global marketplace from somewhere like Harvey County. And it doesn't matter whether we're in the Silicon Valley, New York, Boston, or here in Harvey County. We can put something into the marketplace that creates value and becomes a true asset to Harvey County. And so with that, I'll close and ask if there's any questions.
Anybody have any questions?
Maybe I missed it. I've read the packet and couldn't find it, and sometimes I don't hear very well, but if I could ask you, how much are you requesting on this grant request in total amount?
$0. $0. The purpose of tonight is to update, knowing some of the dynamics and some of the things that have been said. We filed this application as an opportunity to come stand in front of you as people who are invested in this community, as people who are making decisions with dollars to bring partners in economic growth here, knowing some of the things that were said behind our back. We wanted an opportunity to update you.
Oh, that's what you said, but to clarify.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Grant,
Yes, sir.
let me give you a hard-ass situation. Let's say I'm currently going to a doctor in Lakeland, and let's say I do an MRI.